Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Hi everyone. First of all, I welcome you all to April month event for Delhi Power BI user group. So let me welcome you all. And today's session is mainly focused about the April month update that we are going to do every month. So in today's session, we will talk about couple of things. We will talk about some sort of new features that has been rolled out during this month, which is dynamic measure formatting, as well as I will talk about some sort of scorecard subscription and all. So that's the one goal. And another is I have my another co-organizer with me, Rajendra. So he will talk about couple of things on the new update. So hi Rajendra, how are you?
Hi Dhruvin. Hi. I'm good.
Hello.
Thank you.
Yep. Hope you can hear me properly, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So do you want to start first or shall I?
You can please proceed. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thanks, Rajendra. Okay, so guys, let me first start with our first feature that I'm going to demonstrate today is about the string measure string formatting. So let me just go ahead and talk about what does that mean and what we can achieve with the help of that. So sometimes we have a requirement like let's say for an example, I have a country-wise income and I have different country like Europe, India, Japan, London, USA, and depending on the selected country, basically I need to show the appropriate country symbol over here. And let's say for an example, if we want to achieve this in a dynamic manner right now, there is no straightaway way to do that. But with the April 2023 Power BI desktop update, now this new feature has been rolled out and now we can achieve that with the help of dynamic formatting string. So how to get started with that? First of all, let me talk about that. So first of all, make sure your Power BI desktop is updated with the latest version of April 2023, and you just need to go to the options and setting and need to turn on one feature. So just go to the preview feature and make sure that this dynamic format string for measure, this feature is activated, and just click on OK because I already did that. So I'm not repeating that process at this moment, but yeah, that's how it looks like. Now, let me start from the scratch how we can dynamically apply that thing over here. So first of all, over here, I have one of my sales country table. So let me just go to the data view and let me show you the data. So this is my data where I have income and country, and I have another master table called country master where I have country name, its different symbols, and what type of formatting I want to apply. So let's say for India, I want to apply the rupee symbol along with zero. For USA, I want to apply dollar, and for Japan, I need to apply yen. So I have taken different kind of symbol and symbols, and I just applied the different kind of formatting here. Now, the next piece is we need to apply this thing with the measures. So now how to apply that? Let me just get started with that. So in order to do that, first of all, we simply can go to the report view, and first of all, let me create a simple measure for that. So just for our understanding purpose, at this moment, I am just removing one of the field from here. And first of all, let me create a measure. So I'm just clicking on here, click creating a new measure. So let's create a measure total income. I'm just creating 3 is equal to sum, and inside sum, let's provide my income. from sales country table, and I just created this measure. So measure is created. As soon as the measure is created, you just need to go to the format option, and from here, instead of any format that you already have, just apply the dynamic formatting. Once you click on the dynamic formatting, it will directly show you these two options for your measure: format and measure. In measure, you can see your original formula that you have applied, but when you click on format, you can see you can apply your format dynamically. So over here, I just want, like, depending on the country, whatever format I provided into my country master table, which I've shown you initially, I want to pick up the value from there. So over here, we can simply apply our measure formula. And for that, I will simply use a very normal expression, selected value, and inside that selected value, and inside that, I'm just applying a formula from country master. I need to pick up the format country master, and from that pick up the value of format. And once you do that, after that you need to provide the comma. If that is not, then what would be the alternative result? So I will just apply one default formatting with the dollar. So I'll just use this kind of simple formatting option over here, and that will work like this. And let me just hit enter, and we are done with the formatting. So let me just click on done. And as soon as you do that, and I add the measure, let me add this measure, and you can see that this is how this new formatting thing will work over here. So this is how the dynamic string formatting for the measure will work. Basically, two options: measure and format you can apply that. Let's say if you want to remove this formatting, then don't worry. Instead of dynamic, just select any other format from the DAX measure, and you are good to replace that with that one. Now, let me talk about some other use cases of the same functionality, because this is the widely being used functionality, and I can see there are lots of use cases around it. So let's say if you have a requirement like here I have different employees, and let's say there are the different income, like I need a functionality that, let's say if income is less than 1000, then it will show simply like the value and dollar. But let's say if it is greater than 1 lakh, then it will show in form of the K, or let's say if it is in million, it should show into 2.4 million. So I can apply this kind of formatting as well over here. So let me just to save a time, what I did the exact same thing. This is my measure, and after that I applied dynamic, and in dynamic stuff I just applied a formula that if selected measure is less than 1000, then it will just show as is. If it is less than 1 lakh, then it show in the format of K, and otherwise the default value is in just a million. So this kind of expression you can apply, and you can apply the dynamic formatting for your measure. And this is really helpful even when you are converting this thing to the some sort of chart. So let's say for an example, I'm just clicking here, and let me just convert it to some sort of chart visualization from here. And let's see how it will look like. So you can see at this moment it is looking like this, but let's say I'm just apply some sort of formatting on that, and let me turn on its data label on. So let me just click on format of the same visualization. So select the visual. I'm just clicking on format pan. Just give me a moment. Let's select more option, and let's turn on the data label from here. As soon as you turn it on, there is an option like what type of formatting you need. So instead of auto, I will just select none. And after that, what happened here is whichever format I applied, it will just take that effect from there. It's not showing everything because of the spacing over here, but you can see here dollar 100K 2.4 million. So in the chart as well, this will take an impact. So this is one of the cool feature that has been rolled out this month and which is a really helpful. So that's it for one feature. And let me talk about another quick tip for scorecard which has been rolled out during last month, which is the scorecard subscription. So earlier we know for paginated report we have a feature that we can subscribe our paginated report and you will get the email subscription every time. Same thing you can apply for your paginated scorecard as well. So if you have created any scorecard, then just select your scorecard and there is an option subscribe to scorecard. And here you can create your own subscription. You can define the subscribe whom you want to subscribe it. You can set up the frequency and set up the schedule time. And that's how every day or every week you will get the scorecard notification on your email whom you subscribe with. So this is also another cool thing which has been rolled out last month and you can just use it for a scorecard if you create something in your organization. So yeah, these are the main two updates I wanted to cover first. Now I would like to request and hand over the stage to my another co-organizer Rajendra. So Rajendra, over to you.
Thank you. Let me share my screen. Let me know once it is visible as well.
Yep, perfect.
So I'm coming with one more new preview feature from the Power BI services. Let me use a presentation. So it's like a data modeling activities. Previously, we are going to do it in the Power BI desktop, and we will try to give the connectivity as well as a relationship whenever if you are pulling multiple tables, and we will do most of the data modeling activities in the desktop level. Now, this is one more preview feature where we can observe most of our, I mean, like it's still a preview feature which is having some limitations, but we can try to do that these data modeling activities, and also we can try to configure the calculated tables measures, as well as maybe if you are trying to give some relationship also we can provide the relationships from the Power BI services, that is from the cloud itself. I'll just try to show you the setup process how we can try to turn on this feature. So if you're observing this, it's still, as I said, preview. So with many limitations. So we can try to turn on the settings from this whenever, if we are trying to create a workspace, we are able to see some settings option. From there, we can try to turn on the data modeling settings option where the user can edit the data model, which is the preview feature still, and we can save it out. So from there, once you can try to turn it on this particular part. So whenever you are trying to open the data set, so you can see an option something like open data model. From there we can try to get connected. Let me navigate to the one of the report. Yes, see here. So this is one of the data set. If you can try to open this data set, you can see an option something like open data model. So from here, we can try to navigate, and maybe if you are trying to create, instead of navigating back to the desktop, from here itself, we can try to create the calculated columns or else a measure. Or if you're expecting to give some relationship also, we can provide it here. So, but the thing is, it is an auto save. So whatever the changes we are incorporating, it should be like fixed. So there is no undo activity. So we have to be more cautious while doing this activity too, because it's not, we are doing this activity from the cloud part. So in the meantime, let me open the presentation as well. So the features part, as I said, we can edit and create the new measures, calculated columns, and as well as calculated table. And these are the features which we can try to perform from the services. We can edit the relationships too, and also we can easily manage that, going navigating back to the manage relationships, and then we can identify. And we can create a layout. Maybe if you have a specific table, related table, if you want to create, in the sense we can create a layout as well. Layout design page is also defined there. And from the Power BI services itself is one of the cool feature where we can try to define the row level security and the roles too. So there we can edit, and as well we can try to define the roles as per the user permissions. So we can try to configure all the securities, like we can provide the access, and we can try to test the roles in the services itself. And from the Power BI services itself, we can try to create the new report, maybe based on the new model which has been get generated. We can create the new reports from the Power BI services, which is again one more very good feature where I can started exploring with the new report how it will be work on the services part. So I'm just working on this part, which is a recently released few days back. So Microsoft team also accept. They're expecting some collection of the feedback about these new features which has been incorporated recently. So if you're observing this, as I said, the behavior that we have to identify. So whatever the changes that we are going to do it on the data modeling part, it is auto saved. So there is no undo option. Okay. So we can try to turn on this, this data modeling activities from the admin portal itself. So once the admin, maybe if the portal is managed by Power BI services managed by admins, so we have to ask them to enable this feature. So from there we can try to turn on, and then we can do these are all whatever the features that we discussed. These activities we can perform very easily from the Power BI services itself. So as per my observation, so as some of the data sets which I am using as an India region, so this configuration is not working as for the following regions which I have mentioned here. So in that India Central is there. So most of my data sets resides on this India Central. So we cannot able to see that option, open data model option there. So as I said, the limitations part. So once if we can try to turn on this feature, there is, as it is a preview feature, right? So we cannot able to rename and delete the calculated table and also the calculated column. If you are trying to create a new column as the data view is not available, so we can just create a new column, but we cannot able to delete it or else rename it. Like that, if you are trying to derive a new date table or else configuring as a mark as a date table, custom date table creation is also not possible. So in the Power BI desktop, if you are observing like auto detection relationship, that feature is not there because manually we are providing the relationships from the services part, or else go to the manage relationships and then we can try to drag and drop or else select the required columns from there. So external tool which is not available as it is a preview feature, it is also one of the limitation. Let me navigate back. Let me check whether it is turned on. Yes, see here. So here I have opened the data model. So here we can try to configure whether it's you're trying to create some new measure, it will be enabled, and you can see the formula editor as well. So you can get the formula editor and then try to create some new metric information. Or maybe if you're trying to create a new column, so but we're not able to see it, but once the report creation start, we can try to observe the new column details also. As it's a set, it's a cloud based, right? So it will take some time, so which I'm facing currently. So new table, these options are enabled, and also this is nothing but a managed rules for the role based, as I said, right? Role level security creation, we can try to make use of this by using this managed roles from here. So it is an like a new report creation is also available from here. We can try to navigate and open the report, and we can whatever the new columns or else a new metric information you have created, we can try to add it in our report. And I mean, it's a kind of instead of navigating back and try to republish our report, we can do it in the quick manner from this Power BI services. So it is still a preview feature. So Microsoft is expecting, as I said, community's feedback. So as per the responses and the feedback, they will enhance more improvements on this part. So just now I got it. So from here, as I said, right, formula editor, we can try to write the formulas based on it. Maybe I'll just try to write a quick count of, maybe I'll just try to number of active project leads. So just like what we will do in the Power BI desktop level for creating the measures or else a new columns, we can perform these activities from the cloud itself, which will be automatically with the same feature wise we can try to see and we can visualize it on our report building. But as I said, it's a cloud environment part, right? So it will take some time to get it loaded and it will be get available on your services part and as well as the report development. So I'm still exploring more on this part. So I'm also trying to rate, as per the sharing the feedback part from our company as well as from my site. So I'm just waiting for that. So I just came up with this topic. I hope you like it.
Yep, absolutely, Rajendra, because this is something which is another big piece of work which Microsoft recently released, and like most of the time to install the Power BI desktop, do
Yeah,
everything there. It's a very tedious process for anyone. Hopefully, in future this will become more stable, and like
correct.
similar like Power Apps and other tool like Power Platform, we can do everything online, and that is like a very
Exactly.
good thing, because right now we have challenges like for MacBook. If we want to use Power BI desktop, we have challenges, but now with this one it will be soon resolved. But let's see, this will take some time, but
Yes,
obviously it's a game changer. Yep.
yes, yes. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing that thing, Rajendra.
Thank you.
Yep. Now I would like to request Prince to go ahead with
Yeah, actually.
this meetups
Yeah.
update. Hey Prince.
Hey guys. Yeah. So guys, I wanted to share with your all that because I think in the recent past, what we have heard is that some banks have stopped using the Power BI data mart functionality, but they want to go with a direct query without of because of the sensitive data that they have it. They don't want to put it out on the cloud services. So, so we came up with a list of things that we wanted to do from a direct query perspective. What are the changes? What are the enhancements that we can do while designing it? Because it's completely a different story ball game when you have it in import mode and when you have it in a direct query mode. I'm not talking even in the composite, but even just everything in a direct query mode. I don't have any Power BI file to show because I've done everything on my real data, so I can't show that data, but I can go through the steps that we have come up with a conference page that how we can solve it. For what we have seen is that in all these scenarios, what we need to do is that first do all the calculation on the SQL end or the Azure Analysis Services end rather than on your Power BI side. So do most of your calculations to take it towards your SQL Server side and take it towards your Azure Analysis Service side. Ensure the data integrity is complete in the data model. That's a very fair point across where when if you see if you go to any data experience data warehouse modeler or a data modeler, what we do generally is that even if a dimension key is not present, all dimension in the fact should be filled. Maybe it's and then we if that is not present, we usually fill it with a -1, where it tells you that it does not have any relationship, but it still exists in terms of joins. So if you know, when we do a data modeling join, it's usually a inner join when the data model is joined across. There's no so-called left or a right joins in those scenarios in the data model part of the Power BI. Another part is that try to do more of design your tables in a more distributed manner. Have add proper indexing to those tables as per your Power BI report filtrations. Um, Another big part, do all those calculations and computed things that we do it on the calculated columns or Power Query, hand it back it to the SQLs to do it rather than doing it on the Power Query. What we saw last time on the queries that were generated were very bad queries from a Power BI perspective, and we have already given the Microsoft feedback about it, and Microsoft is already working on it. They have released a new feature to improve the power to improve the SQL query that was generated. We currently we are testing it. We are the pioneers in testing it. That stuff. I'm already working with Microsoft to test certain parts of it. Another part is that try to materialize your date dimension, because that's something is a date dimension is something is a very role playing dimension, right? So it's a role playing in across a lot of your fact tables, across your lot of even dimensions itself. It's playing plays a role playing dimension. So and this is where the fixed hierarchy is also there. So try to do it everything on the part of the materializing it so that it has a better performance while doing all your calculations. Another part is that you can always whenever you're doing something on a Power Query, try to see the native query of that and try to see whether is it better to do the same calculation at the your source end rather than doing it at the Power Base. So just have that calculation check every time around whenever you apply any new steps to it. Um, Another part is that don't use filters on the Power Query in terms of date filtering ranges. It creates a lot of bad queries there. Try to do try to use those DAX functions directly rather than creating a filtration range of those things. It creates a lot of bad queries in terms of the SQL when it tries to do a straightforward things. As we all know, we can't have multiple data modeling joins. We cannot have on multiple columns. So try to collate both the composite key in one key with concatenations in the in it in the at the SQL in itself rather than doing it as a calculation column inside your Power BI. Another part was avoid GUID data types because it's a very bad in terms of and byte data bytes and all those kind of data types that are very hash bytes. It's very bad because it usually hit backs on the SQL query. It tries to convert, implicit conversion happens from the data perspective while sending back the data query to the database. So it's better you do it first itself, change and then send it back, send it to the Power BI itself. In the direct query mode, try to hide the so you have many to one relationships. So try to hide the one side of the column relationships so that one side of the one that you in the dimension side, try to hide those columns so that people don't use it. Stop using the bidirectional filters in direct query mode. It's completely a big no with respect to that. Um, then limit your parallel queries because the more you send it the parallel queries, the more worse it becomes. Then try to design your Power BI reports that are so direct query in nature. Try to avoid the number of visualizations. Don't try to add too many visualizations and try to avoid the interaction between the visualizations so that the number of queries that are sent are limited. What happens because if you have a cross filters, for example, you have 4 or 5 filters. When you try to change one filter, if it's interacting amongst each other, what will happen? It will start sending the query at every change that you're going to do it. So try to avoid that so that the number of queries that is sent back is little bit lesser in numbers. Uh, uh, and that's one part of it. Try to avoid then try to see what kind of a basic filters that you can already apply on the SQL dataset that you're fetching it so that it reduces the number of amount of data that is being passed from SQL towards your Power BI. As I told you already, limit the visualizations. Don't use measures as filters inside the Power BI in a direct query mode. It sends out a very bad SQL query behind the scenes and makes it more worse for you guys. But when you do a multi-select filters, so if you see if whenever you see a multi-select filter within the Power BI towards SQL Server, it creates a lot of nonsense query in a sense that it creates multiple subqueries to get to that list. So that makes it more worse. So that these are the things that you should try to avoid while doing a direct query mode. It has a lot of impact overall from the performance infrastructure perspective. That's something you should think before designing the whole direct query mode direct query mode report. But there's some good news also where when what Microsoft came up with is a game changer in a way. The way they are changing the queries, they are trying to avoid the subqueries for a multiple filters. They're trying to avoid the subqueries. The things that they can do it from a join perspective, they're trying to convert those into joins. I hope so. It works fine. We are testing it. We will give you an update by next month and maybe if we have results out there. So these are the things that you should do it. I can send you an article as well about it that was written a long time back, but I think these are some of the best practices that we should be using it to make it work. I can send you a sample Power BI file that was designed between us and them to share how it works. After I anonymize the data so that just for the security perspective, so I can share it across on the same forum itself. That's it from me, Dhruvin. I'm not sure if there's certain more things across.
Yep, absolutely, Prince. So these are really great tips, specifically when we are dealing with a large data set and specifically with the banking software or any kind of data that you are having a large volume. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing the tip. And I think we are good to wrap up this meetup because in April, very less features has been rolled out, which we covered, and mostly in next month we will come again with some sort of new concept or from guest speaker. So we will update you soon through our social media handles. This month and the previous month is something we just focus on the new feature, but we wanted to hear from you guys as well. Like, what are your thoughts? Just share us in the YouTube comment section, and we will take your feedback and go from there. But yeah, I would like to thank one again to all of our organizers, Prince, Rajendra, Abhinav, who is not here. But yeah, we'll still continue this journey every month and see you in the next month. Bye,
Yes,
everyone.
yes. Bye, 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 Dhruvin. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye everyone. Thank you. Have a nice weekend ahead.